On December 13th, 2024, Taylor Swift will turn 35 years old, making her eligible to assume the office of the presidency of the United States. Now, many people are commenting that she could not possibly be running this year. That's right, Taylor Swift, because she's only 34. In fact, you can run if you are 34, if by the time of inauguration, you would be 35. Now, of course, no, it's silly and absurd to think that Taylor Swift would actually run for the presidency. But maybe vice president, right? Same standards apply. If you're going to be vice president, you got to be at least 35. For the same reason, you can't assume the office of the presidency if you are under 35. Now, it's not so clear on the, I'm not so clear on the legal qualification requirements, et cetera, for vice president, but I believe it is the same based on a report we had covered a couple years ago. The Baltimore Sun writes, forget Kamala Harris, put Taylor Swift on Joe Biden's ticket. Very interesting. Now, those who follow sports, last night, I think, the Chiefs beat the Ravens and are advancing to the Super Bowl, with many people questioning how Taylor Swift could actually be there to see her beau, Travis Kelce, because she's going to be in Japan singing a song. Of course, this leads us to the expansion of the wild claim that Taylor Swift is a PSYOP, a government asset of some sort meant to manipulate people. And why is that? The whole Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift thing feels completely manufactured. And Taylor Swift keeps telling people to register to vote. I got to be honest with you. I want to read through some of the wild claims and the crazy things that are going on related to Taylor Swift. And it is pretty crazy. X has banned all searches for Taylor Swift, all of them. And they say it's because people keep posting this AI-generated graphic imagery. What a perfect cover. Anybody who wants to explore the CIA conspiracy theory that's going around won't be able to. Because due to some online trolls using AI, well, now you can't even search for anything about Taylor Swift. I'll be honest with you guys. I do not believe that Taylor Swift is some CIA asset. I don't believe she's actually going to run for president. I don't believe she's going to be the VP on a Michelle Obama Taylor Swift ticket or anything like that. I think this is your typical celebrity play relationship garbage. I do not believe that her relationship with Travis Kelce is legitimate. I think they do this all the time, okay? You've got the Chiefs, they're playing football. They've got some, an athlete they're trying to promote to build a brand. Taylor Swift, of course, one of the most famous people in the world. They go to her and they say, we PR people think it'll be huge for your brand. It'll get you on the cover of magazines. It'll get football in play. We got the Super Bowl coming up. Let's put you guys together and craft this narrative. You'll break up within the year. That is very typical. Now, I'm not saying I know absolutely that's what's going on with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, but that seems to be the likeliest of scenarios because it just doesn't feel organic. I know a lot of people are saying this feels like a PSYOP, and I'm like, dude, when I see this stuff, my mind doesn't immediately go to the CIA has put them into a relationship so that she can get you to register to vote. She doesn't need to be in a relationship with the guy to tell you to register to vote. Taylor Swift has already told her fans to vote. She's already supported Democrats in the past. She doesn't need anything else to do so. Perhaps then the conspiracy theory is that she's going to be with Travis Kelce at the Super Bowl. Kelce will score the game-winning touchdown. And as he runs into the end zone, putting the game to the end, finishing it off. And they'll say, there it is, Travis Kelce has scored the game-winning touchdown. I know it's not so much like basketball where you can throw the ball at the last minute, score, and then it's over. Wild game with LeBron this weekend. That was Saturday. But with football, it's not just, it could be definitive. That's it. With that touchdown, the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. And then once he gets to the end zone, he drops down, puts the ball on the ground, looks up to where Taylor is sitting, and he pulls out a ring. And he opens up. And the crowd goes wild. Ah! Everyone's screaming. Everyone's turning on their TVs. The ratings are through the roof. It is PR gold if you were to do something like that. Some have suggested the trophy ceremony or something like this. He may do it. But during the game at the Super Bowl, really seems to be the perfect play. But the perfect play for what? Now, a lot of people think that the goal is to generate such mass appeal and attention for Taylor Swift that when she then turns around and goes, now go vote for Joe Biden, everyone in the country sees it and they all clap and cheer and scream and high five each other. Come on, that's not going to happen. I don't know what you expect to happen with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, but the best case scenario for whoever is behind the PR stuff is that they just build brand and get on the cover of magazines. That's it. They can charge more money now. They can go to big brands and say, hey, my rates went up 10 times. Travis Kelce now can get on the box of Wheaties or whatever. I don't see how this in any way is going to help registered Democrat voters. Taylor Swift already has her core fans, but get this. It's not enough. Let's read through the news. Let's talk about what's going on. And there's a few things I do want to point out. I love this story from the Sun. NFL fans convinced TV station has leaked Super Bowl teams after spotting script in live broadcast. So apparently they had, look at this. On this local news website, it said, Reba McEntire, Usher, and Post Malone are slated to perform at San Francisco 49ers and Baltimore Ravens Super Bowl matchup February 11th. Everyone thought, it's rigged. This proves it. The Ravens are advancing and the games are meaningless. Rigged? Yeah, I think, honestly, I would not be surprised if a lot of these were actually rigged. But I'll tell you what actually happened with that story. News outlets probably had pre-written script so that in the event the Ravens win, press 1. In the event the Chiefs win, press 2. And so the guy working in the back room, they've got the graphics already made up. They want to have the stories ready to go because there's going to be only one of two outcomes. So they say, okay, in the event the Ravens win, we want to be able to nail that story first. So they have it pre-written. And then they wait. What happens is, they do this with obituaries too, it's funny. What happens then is some guy working presses the wrong button, it pops up on the screen, and they're like, that proves it. I love when this happens with like voting numbers. They're like, they released the voting numbers early. And it's like, dude, they're pre-written graphics. The numbers will change. They're making their graphics in advance. That's how it works. Let me talk to you guys about the Taylor Swift conspiracy theory, and then we'll go through all of the weird goings on, and then you can decide whether or not you think there's going to be some weird thing. I'll tell you what I think. Taylor Swift has this stalker who keeps trying to break into her house, and they keep letting him go. And I'm like, she's going to get AI banned, and she's going to get tough on crime policies pushed in place. But I tell you this. Many people think Travis will get down on his knees at the Super Bowl, and he will be like, Taylor, will you marry me? Wouldn't it be the funniest thing ever if she just goes like, oh my God, oh no. No. Just no. And then walks off. That'd be like the most brutal. That'd be the best PR ever. That's not going to happen either. Here's what I tell you. If there really was a government PSYOP to try and utilize Taylor Swift to get people to vote Democrat, the easiest thing to happen is at the Super Bowl, a big fat guy with a MAGA hat runs out and runs up and shoves her or something. I mean, I got to be honest. Worse things than that. I hope Taylor Swift has great security. I wish her the best. I think Taylor's music is fun, and I have no problem with pop. I think she writes good music. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying she writes legendary, historic, generational music. I'm saying she writes good pop music. You get a little bump going. You know what I mean? People enjoy pop music. You're allowed to like popular things. A whole other subject. But imagine a scenario where a visible Trump supporter screaming that she's working for the CIA attacks her. You want to know how to get you? I'll tell you what I think. I think the PSYOP is the PSYOP. All these people on the right claiming she's a government agent is the PSYOP. Because then what happens is, at the Super Bowl, it's not that there's a marriage proposal. It's that a guy in a MAGA hat runs up to the camera screaming she's working for the government and then attacks her. And then she comes out and says, I have no idea. These people are crazy. We can't let them win. Here's what happens. Crazy guy runs out screaming she's a PSYOP. I can prove it, blah, blah, blah. MAGA Trump attacks her. She gets scuttled away by guards. She's fine. Then everyone at the Super Bowl is watching. Think about this. Everyone in the world is watching. Not really 20 million people, but still. You've got this big event, massive cultural impact. Taylor Swift is being pulled out by security. The game's interrupted. What's going on? Travis is losing it. He's like, these Trump guys, they're crazy. They've been screaming that she's a government agent. This has got to stop. Then Taylor Swift is giving an interview, a day later, and she's like, I have no idea what they're talking about. They keep claiming that these Trump supporters keep claiming I work for the government. I don't. And think about what that does. You want to talk about PSYOP? PSYOP is the PSYOP. Honestly, look, man, I'll tell you this. I don't know who's going to win the Super Bowl, but boy, does it feel manufactured. I don't think there's any guarantee. And it's funny because people online are like, at this point, I'm betting everything on the Chiefs because they think it's all a big government psyop. Therefore, you must bet on the Chiefs. They're going to win. For that magic moment where, Travis gets down on his knees and hands a ring to Taylor and she looks at smiles, looks at the camera and says, yes, I do. I will marry you, Travis. And I will also vote for Joe Biden this November. And you should too. That is not going to happen. I just think this is most likely a Wheaties box like PR campaign. That's it. Your typical PR campaign. It's what they do. They always do it. That's it. Case closed. But I warn you, this hardcore narrative stuff about her being a government agent is the perfect play for an anti-Trump narrative to claim the Trump supporters are all in a cult and all this crazy stuff. Listen, it's manufactured PR stuff. This stuff happens all the time. I think, to a hammer, everything looks like a nail. A lot of people are concerned because Taylor Swift, a celebrity, Hollywood celebrity, is a Democrat. This means that she's working for the government. Dude, Hollywood celebrities are Democrats. They got donors. They've got cultural influence. People go to them and say, here's who we want you to support. Casey Neistat endorsed Hillary Clinton in 2016. He said he regretted it later. They go to celebrities, they go to high profile people and say, hey, how much do you want to endorse? And they go, I don't know, sure, I guess. They don't know much about politics. They don't care. But I warn you again, what do you think happens in 2 weeks if some fat MAGA guy with a Trump hat on runs into the Super Bowl screaming, she's a CIA agent, and then, attacks her? Oh, man. You want to talk about riling people up? I don't see a path forward that benefits Trump supporters in any way. Let's play this game. Let me pull up some tweets for you guys. End wokeness said, what's happening with Taylor Swift is not organic and natural. It's an op. We all feel it. We all know it. Yes, it is an op. I completely agree. A PR opportunity from publicists who got together and said, what's the next celebrity relationship thing we can do? It's what they do. They'll be, Benifer, and they're going to do like, Tavis or, Kel Swift or whatever. Kel Swift, that's what they'll call it. They put their names together and they make a big Hollywood PR stunt. Why is Taylor on the cover of a bunch of magazines? She sells magazines. That's really it. All these magazines with Taylor Swift they're showing you, this is specifically them putting all the Taylor Swift magazines together. But if you go to a store, you'll see there's tons of magazines, and she may be the most frequently appearing person on the magazines. This magazine rec is them putting them all together. Why is Taylor Swift on the cover of a bunch of magazines? Because she's extremely famous. She sells out stadiums with like 90,000 people. And these magazine companies are dying and want people to buy their magazines. Taylor Swift fans will buy all of them. And then you see like, here she is watching football. Here she is hugging Travis Kelce. Whatever, man. Maybe they're really in love. I don't know what the point, look, here's my point, right? Let me show you some more. I love this one so much. I love this. This is green line theory. Rivellino says, leaning in plus face claw. This is not going to last. Green line theory. So the green line theory is that men who are leaning into the woman are expressing more interest in her and the women are expressing less interest in him. This is actually a true thing, a real thing. I don't know if these photos are proof of anything, but it is true. If a guy is leaning into a woman and she is not, then you can see the interest imbalance typically, not always. That's what I'm saying. A single photo doesn't mean anything. But it is true. If there is a woman leaning away from the man, these things do matter. In psychology and evolutionary psychology, these are natural things. Scientists find that men point their shoulders towards women they're interested in, and women lean their hips towards men they're interested in. If a woman is leaning away from the man, that is a simple sign. It's not an absolute thing, though. Sometimes maybe he farted and she's like, oh, that one was a little rough for me, but she still loves him. I don't know. Who knows? But I love these memes. So here's my question for all of you. All right. As the Super Bowl is fast approaching, I am very excited. I love Super Bowl parties. I don't watch football all that often. A few times a year. I'm not super big into it, but the Super Bowl is fun. It's fun because you have a party and, you play cornhole and poker games and everyone gets food. It's a good time. It's a celebration, right? And anyway, I digress. What is the benefit right now for the deep state, for the CIA, for whoever with this relationship? What is the point? What do they gain from it? Honest question. You've got all these stories about Taylor Swift being a PSYOP. Here's one. Taylor Swift is not a Pentagon PSYOP, says U.S. Department of Defense. What is the benefit that the Democrats receive? Let me see if I can. Where's the story I've pulled up? I love this one. Put Taylor Swift on Joe Biden's ticket. I've got where we go? Oh, here we go. Taylor Swift Instagram post helped drive a surge in voter registration. If Taylor Swift is a PSYOP, there's nothing you can do about it but speak out against Democrats. Here's from NPR. On Tuesday morning, this is from September 22nd, 2023, Taylor Swift posted a message telling people to register to vote, 272 million followers. Afterward, the website directed her fans to vote.org, and they recorded more than 35,000 registrations. That's it. Now, they say it's a 23% jump. The number of 18-year-olds registered was more than double in 2022. Highly encouraging sign, blah, blah, blah. First of all, 35,000 registrations did not all come from Taylor Swift, but the majority probably did. So, you can shave down maybe 1,000 voter registrations or a couple thousand. They say, actually, a 23% jump. Okay. Well, there you know. Let's actually play that game. How many votes did Taylor Swift actually drive? If they're saying it's a 23% jump, then my friends, we can quite literally say it's about 8,000 to 9,000 people registered to vote when Taylor Swift posted on Instagram to 272 million people. Now, unless all those people live in Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, or Georgia, I don't think that matters at all. She might come out and be like, I'm Taylor Swift, be like me. And a lot of her fans are going to be like, yeah, and then not do anything. You see this with Youth Vote all the time. So what is the fear of a government PSYOP involving Taylor Swift? She has no political influence at all. I'll tell you. The real PSYOP is the PSYOP. Again, I'm not literally saying it. I'm saying the risk is greater to those going after Taylor Swift, than Taylor Swift ever posed on her own politically. That is to say, Taylor Swift posting, go vote, does almost nothing. 8,000 people, but some fat MAGA guy attacking her does a lot. And with this narrative that people keep pushing that she's a government agent, you are setting up the false flag opportunity perfectly. And then what happens is, at the Super Bowl, when MAGA guy, and I'm not saying it's a real MAGA guy, I'm saying they could false flag this, goes, she's with the government. They run her out. She's screaming. Travis is losing it. The Chiefs lose the Super Bowl. Let's go nuts with this one. Imagine a scenario where a guy runs out in the field screaming, ranting, and then somehow attacks Taylor Swift. She's sitting there like with Travis, and she's probably going to be in a box up top or something. Let's say like you hear crazy scuffling, a window breaks, people are running, there's glass flying, security guards grabbing a guy who's screaming, wearing a Trump hat, being like, she's a CIA and they're trying to coup or something. Talk about the biggest opportunity for a spectacle. Travis loses his mind, runs up full speed. People are holding him back. He's out of the game. The game's delayed. What's happening? Afterwards, the Chiefs lose. And they're like, oh no, Chiefs lose. Tons of people lose. Huge bets they made. Taylor Swift is shaken up saying, I don't understand. I can't do this. Travis says, I couldn't get it, man. These Trump guys, they come in and I'm just out of the game. The only thing I care about is her up there. I love you guys. I love the Super Bowl, but I can't do this. She comes out the next day and she's like, the Trump supporters are dangerous. That's a vulnerability. Again, I don't think that's going to happen. My point is this. Everyone's screaming Taylor Swift PSYOP doesn't do anything. Because in the end, if she comes out and posts, go vote, it has almost no impact as it is. But if there really was a PSYOP, then the PSYOP would be to false flag attack Taylor Swift using the fear of a PSYOP. That being said, I'll tell you what's really wild. What gets me conspiratorial is this post from the Daily Mail X is forced to ban all searches for Taylor Swift 5 days after vile graphic AI pictures emerged on the platform. Now that's funny. Heck of a coincidence. Just before the Super Bowl, you cannot search for Taylor Swift? Whatever, man. Occam's razor, I always say. The simple solution tends to be the correct one. And the reality is, celebrities do celebrity relationships all the time. I don't see a reason for everyone to think there's a PSYOP with Taylor Swift about the government. I just don't get it. I really don't. And furthermore, I've been warning this too. Don't go to war with Taylor Swift. Why? Because she told people to vote for Joe Biden in 2020. I'm like, okay, a lot of people do. What you got to do right now is you got to learn how to play the game, man. You got to learn how to play the game. Let me tell you. Taylor Swift attacked George Soros in 2019. Like online, not physically. That'd be wild though. Because the Soros family and a few people bought the rights to her music, screwing her over. Now you've got all these people claiming it's a PSYOP and she's working for George Soros because he owns the right to her music. The whole scandal among Taylor Swift's fans was that she had to re-record everything and re-release it because she owns the right to the art, but not the recordings. So she has to remake the recordings. In other words, the opportunity you have, and whatever this is to, when you talk to Taylor Swift fans, say, remember when the Soros family, they stole her music and then she had to re-record everything? Man, that was messed up, wasn't it? And her fans are going to say yes and be like, I don't know. I don't trust those people. Like they tried stealing her music. Don't trust them. There you go. Taylor Swift has given you an open door. She's unlocked the door to where you can go to young people and say, the Soros family are involved in bad stuff, man. We don't like them. Taylor Swift is right. You're not going to convince them to go against what she's posting, which says vote for Joe Biden. Fine. But only 8,000 people registered to vote? Whatever. Who cares? Now, sure. Maybe many more would literally just go vote because they're already registered. But you mean to tell me out of 272 million people, she only convinced 8,000 to actually do anything? PSYOP, who cares? Guys, win on the merit. That's what it's all about. I don't see any benefit to going around claiming Taylor Swift is a PSYOP. I see massive benefit to going around claiming George Soros screwed over Taylor Swift. This is wild to me. And I'm like, this is why the right loses a lot. Because you got high-profile Trump-supporting personalities being like, Taylor Swift is bad over and over and over again. And I'm like, guys, look, I tell you this all the time because I used to do nonprofit fundraising, okay? You do not approach someone as your enemy. You'll never sell them on your cause. So when I'm walking up to someone on the street and I'm being like, hello, we'd like to save the rainforest. The last thing you do, let's see, there's a guy walking, he's carrying a Starbucks cup. And you're trying to raise money for your nonprofit. You go, hey man, you can't, you're polluting that disgusting plastic and garbage that you got there. Starbucks is a terrible corporate. You get over here, you give me money. They're going to basically get away from me. What are you doing? You're yelling at me. The first thing you need to know is rapport. The first step in any sale is rapport. Are you safe? So what they train you to do at these nonprofits is to open your arms up, keep your legs spread, and look inviting. Because when you cover your chest, it's a defensive stance to protect your soft inner and underbelly from your enemies. So if you're open, you're like, I am not a threat and I don't fear you. The advice that I always give people, you want to act like the person you're approaching. And you want to approach people who act like you. So if there's a guy in a business suit who's a busy businessman going to a business meeting, and you walk up to him and you say like, yo, what up, dude? We're here to save the rain. He's going to get away from me. But if you approach him, walk up to him, shake his hand and say, 2 minutes of your time, I need your help. We love this planet. You love this planet. You're a good guy doing good work, and I know it. You're working really hard every day to make sure you've got a better future for yourself, your friends, and your family. But understand, outside of your job, there is a catastrophe happening in our forest that's resulting in carbon emissions and blah, blah, blah. That's how you do it. And the guy says, I'm listening. What's the pitch? My friend, $20 a month, set it aside. You go back to work, you do good, you do right, but know that we'll be working on your behalf to clean up the rest of this planet. And then he's like, sign me up. I got a minute. Go quick. You see a hippy dippy guy? You go, my friend, my brother, fist bump. Listen, I know you're chilling. You're having a good go of it, but you know that's how you do it. I'm not saying, I used to do that nonprofit stuff. My point here is this. Simply put, you see a Taylor Swift fan, you should say, I love Taylor Swift. That's what you should be saying. That's right. But people get into this mindset like, no, because she said vote Democrat, dude. Even if, look, rapport is the first step in sales. And if you fear she's going to pitch people on Joe Biden, then you need to rapport. Then it's like, it's been so long, but it's basically the rapport is the first step. Identifying yourself, you give people the conflict and you give them the solution. So in this instance, you say something like, you meet someone who's got Taylor Swift, you'd be like, oh, Taylor Swift. And be like, yeah, I love her music, man. Pop stuff. Like she's legendary. Okay. Best pop singer. It's amazing. Her rise, her transformation, the amount of songs she's written that have just like reached billions of views. There's nobody like her. And then you're talking, and the Swiftie is like, I know, right? You're talking like a 20-year-old woman. And you say, isn't it crazy how she re-releases her own music and hits the charts again? That's how good it is. And they're like, yes, I love this. I love you. We love Taylor Swift. And then you say, you know what was messed up? Dude, did you ever hear about how Taylor Swift posted on Instagram about how George Soros' family stole her music? That's how good it was. And then they're like, yeah, I saw that. Like, dude, these Soros people, man, they're dirty. What are they even doing stealing from Taylor Swift? Man, they really grind my gears. And then the person's like, yeah, me too. That was messed up how they stole from Taylor. And now you're friends. But here's the truth. You guys agree. We agree. Like, why attack Taylor Swift? The Soroses stole her music from her. And then you say, man, I hope those people don't get any more power and win more, because look what they do to others. Like, you've got one of the greatest musicians of all time, Taylor Swift, and the Soros family literally stole her music. They bought out the master recordings. They overbid thinking they'd make more money, forced Taylor to re-record everything. And you know what? She threw egg in their face when re-releasing her music. It smashed the charts. The Soros families, they're a bunch of losers. And Taylor, she proved them. Man, and did you know too, like the Soros people are funding a whole bunch of, now you got them. Now you have the open door, and Taylor provided that. So don't make an enemy of opportunity. Long story short, the Super Bowl is going to be fun. I don't know, whatever, man. I'll leave it there. There's war happening, apparently. Politicians are calling for bombing Iran. We'll talk about that next. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. The next segment's coming up on this channel at 1 p.m., and I will see you all then.